What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Clown blog. I know the last couple of days have been just giving you just as much fire as I possibly can, because that's just kind of mood I'm in. Whenever I'm meeting new people, learning new things, I'm in a very fiery, engines burning mood. Today's been crazy, 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 crazy. You see the title? Um, you should watch the Big Short and Margin Call. Yes, and the Deion Sanders wave. And I want y'all to understand, like. You always want to be on the producer side of things in every capacity, if possible. So today I had to go replace my couch, replace one of my mattresses at my place, not both, just one. I had to replace the table. I'm thinking I'm going to be able to go into this place. It's going to be quick, fast, awesome, done. No, they're like, oh, we have the couch in 2 weeks. We can't remove it for you. We can't do this. We can't do that. And I'm like, where is this normal? Right? I'm like, I'm about to go to rooms to go, because y'all should be able to just go. We pick this up, take this out, and get us out of here. No problem. Quick, done, in a fast and a hurry, and be just done with it. Nope. They're just like, so I say, hey man, do you know who I could call? Is there a junk haul remover company I could call? Oh no, I don't know that. You're in a furniture store. You sell furniture, you deliver furniture, but you don't know who can remove furniture? The levels of just being competent are just so low. They're so low. I stayed up like many the other night to 3 a.m, felt like it, watching Deion Sanders in this game and this stuff go back and forth. And I really was watching the trending. I'm not on Twitter, deleted my account, but I watched the trending tweets. And this is why when everybody talked about Elon Musk and Twitter's dead and all that, I said, no, it's not. It's what all the news people are using. It's what people are using to express themselves. Trust me, it'll be the same people on there. They just don't want to pay for it. And you could feel the tone of people getting really arrogant, like, yes, he's gonna lose. And someone said, Erica, why didn't people support Deion like this when he was at JSU? I said, well, the first year of him being at JSU was just ESPN and people just absolutely being assholes, really. Like, they didn't want to recognize historically black colleges. Why do we even have historically black colleges? Well, then you would explain why we have black colleges. You guys wouldn't let us in the white colleges. Oh, it's still racist. We should get rid of them. Like, they can't put their energy, right? They couldn't put their energy behind Deion Sanders being at the historically black college because of all the emotional baggage with that. Acknowledging, one, why do we have historically black colleges? Why do we think they're less than? Why do we think their students and players are less than? Why don't they get the coverage they deserve? Why don't they get the funding they deserve? Right? It's a lot of layers in there. That's why they couldn't support Deion like they support. See, like Lil Wayne and all the rappers showing up. Like, you got black people showing up to Denver and showing up to Boulder, Colorado in the hundreds of thousands. Right? They didn't show up at JSU. They didn't show up in Mississippi. They weren't saying yeah. Now you started to see the trend of the players. Yes, ESPN did one time though. The players going, well, we can go play at historically black colleges, right? When that NIL money came out, it's like, you can go play anywhere, long as you got that social media jumping. You dig what I'm saying? And so I'm watching this game, and I have a friend who's very intelligent. He's a scientist, and he's like, oh, I don't know, you watch sports. Like that's just beneath us. And I always tell him, I said, listen, dude, we always need a little bit of a balance of an outlet. We're really smart people, and we'll get pissed off every day if we just think about high-end topics every day of our life. Watch a little sports, let a little steam off, and keep it moving, right? But there is a lot of symbolism in Deion Sanders, and he knows there's a lot of symbolism, and he knows that, they got two technically black coaches. I'm going to say technically, not being disrespectful to the guy from Colorado State. He is some combination of black, right? Black, Latino, black, whatever, mostly black. And I know the position he's in because I can hear it in his voice, very identifying with this kind of country. I was raised right. I know how to act. And Deion's like, brother, why are you doing all that? You know what I'm saying? It's that kind of like, you're doing too much, right? You're doing a little too much. And so I see a lot of the symbolism. And so I, before the game, watched The Big Short, right? I was like, I'm going to watch Margin Call, but then I got caught up in Deion Sanders. I ain't going to lie to you. Margin Call is on the list tonight, even though I don't got my new couch and I don't have my new bed, so I'm pissed. But that's another conversation. Why did I watch The Big Short? It's the same reason I watch Trading Places, and I hate Trading Places. It's like comical but stupid because it's that old Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy. They could just do any stupid movie and it'd be funny back in the day. But the last 20 minutes of Trading Places, the average viewer never understood it, or what I guess Dave Diamond and them would call retail investors. They didn't understand what was going on in the movie Trading Places. And just like in The Big Short, they made that movie purposely, I feel like, for Americans who don't like big, heavy concepts. Right? They kept trying to break it up a little bit, give you a little silly, give you a little movie star action so they could break it down and it spoon feed it to you, which was beautiful. Why did I care about the movie? Yes, David Vick Carroll was telling everybody, go watch these movies, go watch these movies. And when somebody famous tells you to go watch the movie, all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, we should totally go watch the movie. And the numbers for it going up this weekend, people watching it ever since David Vick Carroll said that, have gone up. So I watched it, and the reason I want y'all to understand that people sometimes of certain statuses think they're geniuses because they've created something, right? And they're just leveraged. They think leverage means they're a genius. It's very frustrating. And so you have Michael Burry, who knows he's right. And this is what I told y'all. Sometimes when you're 3 years ahead of something, when you're 4 years ahead of something, people are like, you're a lunatic. You're crazy. You're a crazy person. But then it's not just you. It's just people who can stand back from it a little bit and look at it and go, something's off about this. Something's off about these numbers. Something's off about this. And once they broke down how they were bundling them packages and how they were being rated, man, I already knew. I just was sitting there watching the movie like, that's crazy. But I knew there is this component to our society where we just kind of leave it to somebody else. We leave it to somebody else, right? It's somebody else's job, right? Like when the dudes from Brownfield came in there and they were so excited. They took $100,000 and turned it to 30 million, which is an achievement all of its own. And the guy was like, oh, you're just short $1 billion, right? Like you think you're gonna come in here and play with us big boys? And that's the attitude and the thought process that makes you lose your shirt every time. When you get so arrogant, you can't learn anything else for someone else. That's when you lose your shirt. That's when you lose a step. I've been a victim of it myself. Sometimes I thought I was too smart for something, and somebody came out and make a business opportunity of it. And I was like, damn, I should have seen that. I should have seen that. Man, that was smart of that person, right? Or I'll be studying something and I don't want you to. There's a difference between a constant learner and a learner who applies things. There's some people I know that they'll go every week. They're at a different conference every week. Every time you turn around there, because they're spending thousands of dollars a year at a conference. But you ask them, are they applying any of it? They haven't applied a thing yet. They're just going to conferences left and right. And I always tell people, don't get into that hype. That's a bad move. Or they'll get online and they sign up for this person's webinar, then another webinar. Then they're just constantly absorbing webinars. There's a difference of learning, wanting to learn, and of taking action, and just being this constant learner, right? You'll meet people go get a doctorate degree. You're like, why you get a doctorate degree? I don't know. So there's got to be a difference between being a learner and actually being able to apply, right? Because what you realize when you start learning and you start educating yourself is that you don't know a lot. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry, my bad. What you start realizing is like, man, all the stuff I didn't know, all the stuff no one shared with me. Why didn't anybody educate me on this? And if I knew this 5 years ago, I'd be so much further ahead, right? Professional students. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. That's the word I'm looking for. Professional students. So I'm in this training with affiliate marketing, and I mean, the first 5 minutes of the talk, I'm like, okay, da 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 da. And within an hour of the training, people still had questions. I'm like, you didn't hear what he just said? Like, where did y'all get lost? Y'all got lost that fast? But what I realize is most people are not applying themselves in any capacity, right? There was a comment on social media. There's a black guy. He's always wearing tight Wrangler jeans and different kind of clothes. And he looks like 1990s Dwayne Wayne professor, right? From a different world. And it's funny because he actually is a professor in Louisiana. Him and his wife is black. She's pregnant, stays home mom. It's a whole thing, right? His Instagram has blown up. He's got all these sponsorships now. It's amazing, right? Right? And so then people, mostly black people, have been attacking him and in his DMs, telling him he's not dressing like a black person. This man is from Louisiana. Very black down there. You know what I'm saying? He just looks like somebody's dad from the 1980s. The hair, the clothes, the pulled up pants, the belt. And I was in the comments and all I said was, yeah, because most people dress sloppy all day. And I mean, they're eating me alive. How dare you say people dress sloppy? And I'm like, if you talk to anybody from Europe, from Japan, from Korea, they come to America and they literally say, y'all look like shit. Y'all dress like shit. You're wearing cargo shorts all the time, sloppy clothes. I went to go pick my food up. And this is Diamond Dave talked about this. These restaurants cutting corners, but it's not just the restaurant cutting corners, it's how the food's prepared. I'm in the restaurant waiting on my food. There's a bunch of people coughing. This one man went to go get a drink from the drink machine. He's got dander all over his shirt. I'm like, this how y'all leave the house? Yes, sloppy. Sloppy. Terrible. You look horrible. Terrible. Right? Like I challenge myself every once in a while to like 30 days of dresses. And I'm saving the challenge to next year. So when we're in Italy, and we're in Croatia and we're in the other place, I just will have a suitcase full of dresses because I already know that's the culture, that's the expectation. But if you start dressing like this in America, people are like, well, damn, why you dressed up? I'm in Austin, very casual, very comfortable city. And I remember I had a black button up and white linen pants. I was already very self-conscious of the pants because I don't usually wear white. I don't wear white like that because I'm scared I'm gonna spill food. I always I think I saw Brandy somewhere at the earlier Invest Fest. I was like, girl, you got on white, you rich. Because I'm always thinking I'm gonna spill something on it, right? And I'm wearing it and I had some sandals, Mexican sandals. I'm walking, this lady's like, oh my God, that's amazing what you're wearing. I was like, really? Thank you. And it was in that moment, my friend was like, oh, you dressing like an old white woman. And I laughed because I'm like, girl, if you go on Instagram, there's a ton of girls in Europe dressing like I'm dressing right now. Right? But because we think it's acceptable to be so comfortable all the time, that's what we think is the right way in America. What is the most comfortable I can be? And part of that comfort, I don't want y'all to lose. I don't want to lose y'all here in the conversation. Part of that comfort is comfort in learning, comfort in being lazy. And like wearing your underwear all day is comfortable. Sitting around your house in your underwear is comfortable. Is it appropriate? No. Does it get you where you need to go? No. I saw a young man, black young man, sagging shorts, underwear booty showing, right? Not booty, but just underwear of the butt. And he had a hoodie. I said, brother, it's 92 degrees out here. You got on slides. You got sagging shorts showing your underwear and a hoodie. What the fuck are you wearing? Right? And there's no, when I was growing up, I had our uncle, the sternest uncle in our family, was from Chicago. Clean, dressed, he don't play. And he would always ask all the boys in the family, why are your pants sagging? Why are your pants sagging? Pull your pants up, put your shirt up, buckle it. And he would do that all the time. He would do that even when we were in public places with people he did not know. And 9 times out of 10, he'd walk up close to the young man and be like, hey, brother, pull your pants up. And the kids wouldn't give off this attitude, right? They would just be like, okay, yes, sir. You know what I mean? They knew he was doing it out of a good heart, right? But you have these people that are so emotional, they cannot be corrected. They cannot be corrected ever, right? They were talking about the sooty girl that was shaking her butt all over the ground at a award ceremony. And it was like, you can do what you want, but it's just not appropriate. It's just not appropriate. Well, Erica, no, but it's not the 1950s. I'm gonna be comfortable. Baby, like our grandparents were comfortable in button-ups and jeans and hard toe shoes. It's about learning to carry yourself a certain way. Now, what I do all that rant for? What I say all that rant for? Because I'm talking about The Big Short. And if you don't press yourself to try to learn and understand concepts that may be sometimes boring or hard, you will be left behind like a dodo bird. I immediately watched that movie, and y'all, let me tell you what first thing I thought in my head as I'm sitting there. I need to increase my stock holdings. I just immediately, even watching the movie, even knowing the game has its moments, knowing how people are doing things, knowing their shady business, I still was like, I need to be my foot deep in that game. I need to be having money come out of the stock market into my pocket because it's a casino and it's billions of dollars going in, and we should be getting some money out. Now, first things first, the average person, well, you try to talk to stock market with them, oh man, my brain can't, right? But I'm like, just like you learn how to play spades, just like you learn how to play the slot machines, just how you know to play craps, Let's say you know learn to play all these things. These are things you can learn. The way we're learning about Deion Sanders, every bit of his life and riding the wave and Colorado and the history of this and the history of that. I'm proud of the brother. I'm excited for it, right? I get it. Okay. But what I want you to understand is the proximity of people in a way of life. In the movie, at the end of the movie, and I think they did it to make people feel good, they had these two guys that were just selling mortgages and they got fired, right? They were frat bros, right? And it kind of put a nail in the coffin of the frat bro. The frat bro, business bro kind of culture, which you see in Wolf of Wall Street and a lot of this stuff. They kind of put a nail in it, right? But the guys were at a job fair. And I laughed because I said, I know people like that, especially from 2008, that lost these jobs with Wachovia and mortgage companies in Charlotte, North Carolina. And they didn't do any of that. You know, some of them started service businesses. I know 2 or 3 guys, they started service businesses and they were running around driving their truck, cutting lawns or doing preservation for all these evacuated homes, right? These evictions, these foreclosures. And they were, cleaning up the properties. They never went back to go get another job. Because when you get into a certain proximity and a way of life, you know too many people, right? Like my friend, he went and called up a couple of his friends about, hey, I want to go work as an account executive. I mean, they're giving him mock interviews. They're doing everything they can. Hey, man, come over. We'll show you how to do this. When you get to a certain proximity and way of living, you can call your friends and your friends going to put you on game. So whatever level they can do, they're going to put you on game. Even the white men in the movie, they helped those 2 boys get rich. Well, y'all wanted to be rich. Why'd you help us? Because y'all wanted to be rich. Most people want to be useful. Just being honest, most people want to be useful. And so when you're watching the movie, it's all proximity. It's all like, if you know enough people in this circle, you're going to find out the information that you need. You know enough people, you're going to find it out, right? And so, again, we talked about they mistook leverage for genius. I enjoy watching people like Ted Oakley and some other folks they were there in the 80s. They saw the 80s, they saw the 90s, and they saw the 2000s. You're talking to people and men who've survived 3 recessions. You know what I'm saying? 3 recessions. They done seen this game play out. And when I was telling y'all a couple days ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, about oil, and I saw a couple guys who used to be, I'm talking about millions of dollars deep into short-term rentals. And I've been seeing them at oil fields, and I've been seeing them invest with oil people. And I'm getting on the phone with them like, hey, who you invested with? I see where the puck is moving, and I've seen this game before. I saw in 2008 when I was in North Carolina, I didn't have the money to go crazy and buy up properties. And we're not going to go that bad on the real estate side, but we'll go that bad on the commercial side and a few other spots. When I was in Richardson, Texas the other day, where our hotel was, there was a bunch of office buildings, and it just, they leave the lights on the floors that are empty to show you what's available. And I'm talking about 6 floors out of this 7-story building where light was on. Building across the hall, 5 floors, lights on. Right? There's going to have to be some kind of crunch there. But are you in a position to even take advantage of the crunch? Are you in proximity? Are you educating yourself? Right? Are you even close enough to figure out what a good deal is? I love and laugh when people are on YouTube and Instagram saying, oh yeah, when the crash happens, I'm gonna buy all this stuff. No, you're not. No, you're not. Stop saying this lie. The reason you're not gonna do it, just like you didn't go put $100 on some bricks in JSU, you didn't buy JSU equipment, you didn't do all this other stuff when Deion Sanders was over there. Now Deion Sanders over here, you still waiting to figure out what you're gonna do, if you're gonna buy a ticket or go. I know how people will. They'll wait to the last minute. They'll wait till they see people taking the boxes out of the office crying, like in the movie. They'll wait to the last minute to the light bulb went off. They'll wait to the last minute because they're not really paying attention. They're not in the ball game. I remember in the movie, the dude Big Short was like, oh, they're out here caring about the daggone ball game and which actress won an award. And I laughed, but I said, that's exactly, he's right. The average American just cares about sports, what we eating tonight, how comfortable can I be? And when you start talking about oil and gas and investing, and I start talking about you should be knowledgeable enough, right? About these things. Our community wants to specialize in 24/7 laughter. How much can I be a comedian? How much can I be silly? I think I told y'all about the live stream where the girl was making money with her live stream, and her boyfriend come on and he's got jokes, and he's like making fun of her armpit hair, some silly stuff. And she looks at him, maybe you should get a job. Maybe you should stop trying to grab your comedian career and go get a real job. Maybe you should put your name on the lease. And the brother's like, hey, chill out. I love you. Be quiet. That's how real it is. That people are specializing. This brother is trying to be funny on this girl's live stream where she's making money, and he don't even have his life together. You really want to tell the girl, value yourself enough to get away from him. But it's all up here. It's all up here. So when people tell me they can't wait to get their foot in, they're going to get all the deals when it crashes, you're not. Unless you're a plumber, electrician, a roofer, somebody in the trades. Then on top of that, do you know somebody in the lending side of things? Then on top of that, do you know somebody on this side of things? There's so many levels of people that are going to touch that deal before you get that deal. There's so many people they're going to pitch that deal to before you. I'm at the event in Richardson. I'm at a small, like 30 people, less than 30 people, right? The event the day before, Jerome had like 75 people on. The next day, 30 people event for the flipping. She was just like, look, don't even start. If you ain't got $50,000 excess cash just sitting in your bank account before you do your flip. Because again, people think I'm just going to be like HGTV. I'm going to get in there in 30 days. I'm going to flip this whole place and it's going to be for sale. No, some stuff sits on the market longer. If you don't got the quality people want, they're going to make it sit. Right? And so when you heard her say 50K, you can see people's face froze up a little bit. And some of these people been agents for years. You don't got no money saved up. You ain't got no rentals. There was one woman said she moved from Florida in 1995. And they asked her how many rentals did she have. She said, I finally got 3. I said, you moved from Florida to Texas in 1995. You done seen multiple of these areas go from $50,000 in Dallas to $450. 1995, sis. And you and your husband don't own like 10 rentals out here? That's insane to me. And so when I talk to people about being in proximity and getting these deals, you actually got to be awake to pay attention to get the deals. And you got to have some cash flow and some money sitting aside. And so when I talk to people about making more money, the average person goes, no, I just want to do enough to be comfortable. I want to dress comfortable. I want to live comfortable. I don't want to learn about hard things. And I promise you, it will be advantageous to you to go to somebody's event. Like Diamond Dave has an event like October 21st in Atlanta, Georgia. He's teaching live auction trading. The amount of money I've seen people make going from like $100 to $50,000, $100,000. These are the places you would learn how to do that. But if you tell the average person that, they're like, oh, it's a scam. Oh, what is this Forex? Oh, what is this? I don't want to learn about Bitcoin. And you're like, no. You're learning a skill that you can take anywhere, that someone can't take from you. And so what I'm noticing in our community is we have to make you laugh or make you be amazed by how flashy our clothes are, how nice our living is, for you to hear it, for you to even want to address it. Now, this ain't just in the Black community. This is also in the white community. There are several people in the affiliate marketing space. They're having to market. This is how they have to market. I'm not giving away the whole thing, but they pretty much have to show themselves at home in the daytime where most people are at work, that to show themselves by a pool, or that to show themselves homeschooling their kids, for the person to be like, oh man, what are you doing? Man, what are you doing? Right? And so what I tell people is, if you know how people are, right, invest in things that are going to put money in your pocket. And that means being a producer, not just a consumer on these platforms. When Michael Burry did all this, yeah, for sure. When Michael Burry did all this, they asked him, what does he invest in? And there are several articles, and his voice drives me crazy. It's very soft. He's invested in farming, real estate, gold, and his commodity he trades is water. And so when I hear somebody who was right the last time talk about you need to be investing in land with water on it, that's all I need to know. Like, people don't understand like how stubborn you have to be to stick to your guns on something you know is right, years in advance. Years in advance. Same thing when he had all those investors. And this is why I want you to understand. People think, oh, I'm going to work in group economics and group funding. And like, you may be the lone wolf that believes something and you're trying to convince 20 people to invest in something with you. No matter the price point, it's a headache. He's working with people with millions of dollars and it's a headache. There are people I know working with people with millions of dollars and they having headaches. Headaches. The dude from the hedge fund dude that just did the event last year, he's going to do another one. You can't invest with him unless you have $1 million. And let's keep it a buck. His father is truly the hedge fund guy that's been doing hedge funds for 30 years. His son just came along underneath him. So this is why I talk about proximity all the time. This is why I tell you about the mastermind I was in 2019. Everybody in there, they helped everybody get 100 to 200,000 in credit cards. People got the credit cards, didn't know what to do with them. We said, hey, y'all can come invest with me over here in this hedge fund, or y'all can invest over here in real estate. And were able to have an $8 million fund in no time. Because all these people had got these cards, but they really didn't know what to do with them to make money. So I'm applying this to you because I want you to understand that most people don't know what to do with money. I think Diamond says black people don't want no money. That shit cracked me up because it's true. They don't want no money because then they will really have to make a decision, right? It's stressful to have to be a decision maker, to be responsible. This is why sometimes, again, so I did the show the other day telling y'all what's the difference between Chad Ochocinco and Shannon Sharp. It's a preservation, hold, mold versus I can create more wealth. I can create opportunities for myself. How can I create more opportunities for myself? How can I put more things out? Like the next 107 days that are left in this year, we've already, the staff and us, because right now, I think y'all think I'm joking. We have 6 Instagram pages. Yeah, 6. We have 3 YouTube channels. We have 3 Pinterest accounts. We have 7 Facebook groups. Right? And so I said, listen, I need 107 pieces of content for all platforms. And the VAs are like, oh, when do you need them? I said, I need them now. I need them today. Because what happens is you come out here, you get in your feelings. You post something, it's not popular, you want to quit. You start posting on YouTube, it's not throwing millions of dollars in your pocket, you want to quit. And it's because people are not learning to grow real businesses. Again, I remember talking to somebody and they were like, Erica, the stock market's so crazy. Why would you put money in it? I said, man, I know this. This is what I know. This is not from not knowing. It's from firsthand experience. Let's say you have bad credit and you got 25,000 sitting in your stock account. The collateral, they will give you a loan off the collateral. It is, I've talked about this in my funding class. I've talked about it multiple times. There are several people. Why do CEOs of these companies get paid in stocks? The taxation is different. Not only that, from the stocks, they take a loan out on the stocks. They're not getting taxed on the loan. So their CEO getting paid $400,000 in stock. They take a loan out. They get that money right back, and then they turn around and do what they want with it. They didn't pay work taxes on that money. They didn't pay unemployment on that money. They didn't pay them type of taxes you're going to pay on that money. And so when people sit here and go, well, I don't care about the stock market, it's terrible. Even when Grant Cardone talks a lot about stock market, I get what he's saying. I 100% get what he's saying about the stock market. I'm not in control. Listen, put as much money, 97% of your money into something you can control, something you can shape, service businesses, real estate, land, farmland, etc. I get that. But put a little 10% over there. Because at the end of the day, what did I tell you? If Congress is investing in it, they're going to make sure they're good. And they heavily invest in the stock market. They heavily invest in real estate. And they heavily invest in businesses. They're going to make sure they're good. Be smart about it. Right? Prime example. Deion Sanders, the next 7 games are going to be hard. The next 7 games are going to be hard. It is because the schools are playing. It's because, again, this is a brand new roster. It's a mix of people. Right? It's a mix of people. It's a new roster. They learn every week what they can't do and what they can do. And the hype machine is against him. Whether y'all say, well, no, these people are cheering Deion Sanders. Look how packed Florida is, Colorado is. I said it's because it's in their favor. These same people were watching while he was at JSU. They did not want to support a black school. They did not want to go to Mississippi. They did not have to spend money to be down there. They did not want to be near Mississippi. Most white people don't even want to be near Mississippi. You're talking about Gulf Shores, that's one thing. Anything else, they're like, oh, Mississippi. People are going to ride the wave. And what I strongly suggest of you, right? The wave for the rest of this year is sports, 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 sports. I see it in people's eyes. They're already checked out. It's sports, and next year is the election. And that's already starting to rev up itself. I've already seen it. I went to go look for something, and it was marketing me tickets for March Madness basketball. Final Four, which is March and April of next year, y'all. So these people have a plan for you, right? The plan is for you to spend money, and they're going to market everything they can at you for the next 18 months while you zoned out. Next 18 months while you zoned out. So I'm just telling you, put yourself in a position where you can make money from that. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm going to take that money I make from marketing and throw it more into some new construction and throw it more in some Section 8 rentals. And I don't hide that from y'all. I'll make that very clear. There's one girl who's been throwing spaghetti at the wall, and she's what, a year and 3 months into it now. She's made about $3 million in affiliate marketing. I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to show y'all for 6 months. Every week, like a weekly, I'm going to show you a weekly rollout. But essentially, I'm telling you, I started it yesterday. I'll just say I started yesterday till March 19th. And why is that? Why am I going to show you this? Because at the end of the day, all these companies, they need salespeople. But we hate sales and we hate ads. But we love seeing what somebody else is doing and riding their wave. The DEION hater blocker glasses that just sold $1.2 million in 24 hours. Trust me, we like riding the wave because we like people telling us what is the wave. I watched the thing the other day where all these medical people were saying the reason they don't quit being medical professionals is because they keep hearing stupid stuff. So this one guy was saying, he was talking to the patient, and the patient said, "You understand, fam?" And the guy said, "I'm not his family, so I'm going to hold him for a 72-hour psych hold." These people are cornballs. On average, the person that you deal with, they only deal with 5 to 10 people that are just like them in a bubble. So you got these countless healthcare stories of where, oh, I saw this black woman hitting her head. I'm going to put her in a psych eval. Why? It took a black nurse to come by and go, she's just itching her head. These people are so out of touch with anything. So out of touch, so corny, so out of touch that when you try to introduce them to culture, any type of flavor, I'm being careful here, they're gonna ride the wave, right? You saw the footage of the white kids when University of Texas was beating them, and the black kids are dancing on the sidelines laughing. The white boys yelling, "Go back to the projects." This is Alabama, y'all. There's only like 3 good cities in Alabama that's got decent living standards. Huntsville, Alabama, Vestavia Hills, Hoover, Alabama, and maybe the where the beach is at. That's it. So these people who are yelling at this man to go back to the projects, they don't live well. They probably come from a part of Alabama that's not well, but they're riding a wave of what they think is black people, what they think is that culture. And I want you to understand, like, I'm more than ever on get that money and set your family up so your kids don't have to go to work with people who are idiots. And I don't mean not just go to work. I mean, I want them to have prosperous working future, but that they feel like the only thing they can do is work with very hostile conditions. You don't have to go work in hostile conditions to get your money. You don't have to work for pennies on the dollar to get your money. If you're not just maintaining your kids, but actually instilling some values and some sense into them, they could learn from somebody like a Diamond Dave and learn stocks and work, maintain their emotions and control their levels of energy, right? Make sure they're not making rash decisions. They could go learn from somebody and get some of these tech jobs and end up doing remote work and not have to be at work trying to prove they know stuff, right? But the bulk of people want to be comfortable and they don't want to. I mean, again, they were just showing where kids are lonelier than ever. And I'm like, that's on your parents. I know people don't want to, no, that's the kid's fault. No, that's on your parents. Under 12, you're taking them to events. You're taking them to sports. You're taking them to activities. If this kid is expressing they are not developing or they're lonely or other issues, that's on you. But we live in a society that thinks it's somebody else's job to do this for me. It's somebody else's job to solve my kid's problem. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So let me read some of y'all comments and kind of wrap this up. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. I really want y'all to understand, like, go watch that movie. Go watch that movie. And when I sit here and tell you, like, when Jimmy said, and I said, Jimmy, you can come back and do a whole set. He's like, I don't, because people don't understand it. It's not that hard to make $1 million. And if I told you some of your favorite people on the internet that y'all love watching, that they made $1 million in 2018, they've been making millions for years now. But people don't, they can't ever broadcast that. They can't tell you about that because people can't hear it. They can't process it. Michael Burry was 2 years ahead of the market on that trade. However, he had money in that trade and not just making crash videos. Great movie. Yeah. I mean, again, at the end of the movie, what was so sad when he had showed that they had 489% returns. It was crazy because it was like, he was like, I'm so unhappy because people I used to be able to talk to, I can't talk to no more without lawyers involved. People I used to conversate with, I can't conversate with no more. And that's the problem when you get into some of these spaces where you're highly intelligent and you're ahead of the game on something, right? It's a sad spot to be in sometimes. I know this is off topic, but I was trying to find the women info you had posted before for the credit repair services. Thanks. I don't know who you're talking about. I have no clue who you're talking about. You know how many people we have on this channel? Somebody help me out. I don't know who he's talking about. If y'all know who he's talking about, let me know. Because I don't. Here you go. Jackson, Mississippi would have been transformed economically if Jackson State received the same amount of support. I get there were politics behind him leaving, but I still hate it for the city. Here's the issue. Everything I just said, I don't know if you were here, Angie, when I started the video, but you may have came in late. Nobody wants to deal with is a historically black college. They think the school is less than. They think the players are less than. They think the environment is less than. They love DEION. They can't support it because then when their friends and family ask them, and again, the average white person, when you say something about historically black colleges, they literally go, why do they have black colleges? That's racist. And you go, because y'all wouldn't let us in the regular colleges. Oh, well, that's the past. No, that's 1985. All the way to 1990. We still have minority scholarships for most colleges. And as soon as we got over 20%, you took those scholarships away. So when you have to hear that part and process it, white people don't want to support that. In general, they don't. They're like, oh. I mean, there's even a couple ESPN people who did a whole dialogue. He said, listen, we didn't think it was real. We thought he was at a HBCU, some Pee-wee college. Nobody believed they could do it. And he's proven us wrong. That's all that is. And I'm like, yeah, he's proving you wrong. That's what's going on. Nobody wants to address that part. And so again, schools make money off of your belief, okay? All this TV marketing is good for them. All the money off these TV shows is great for them. But at the end of the day, if they can't get, like right now, they sent me an email last night. Hey, we won. Will you buy a t-shirt? Here's $18. Buy the t-shirt. I bought the t-shirt just so I'm already supporting. I'm already on the way. I know the money the school will make off t-shirt sales is more than enough to pay DEION his money. I know the money they'll make off little projects is more than enough to pay DEION his money. I know it is. The Boulder, Colorado hotel system is delighted for him to be in town, right? The Denver, Colorado, even the airport is excited for him to be here, right? You have to understand this is all a money thing for them and a symbolism for us, right? People are heavily incompetent. It's actually quite scary. Oh yeah, we could add that too. I had to cut the game off and go to bed because I could tell it was going to be long. It was a mess, but that's the thing of I like college football better than NFL because I feel like you have the ability to make mistakes, and it's like the underdog story. Yeah, yeah. I think what is the GameStop movie isn't out yet though. I mean, the real part about the GameStop movie is like, how much did you lose? A billion. How much did you lose? Let's say a billion, right? You have all these people who are frat bro economic in it, locking out the little guy from partnering together. And I want y'all to understand that all these retail investors had this hub they could talk with each other and come in together. And it's the power of group economics, but nobody wants to talk about that. They always want to just talk about it from the perspective of, oh, it's a bunch of weirdos on a website sharing stuff. No, no, it's group economics. But when it's group economics on the retail investor side, companies don't like that. So I watched The Big Short 4 times in the last 2 weeks, so I can soak up as much game as possible. More likely to watch it again. There's countless other movies you can watch. There's countless other movies you can watch. I mean, you really can, if you sit down, and this is hard, even for me, ADHD, but I literally watch CNBC News, Fox Business News. I watch a lot of like commentary on, usually commodities, but I'm not gonna lie, the financial markets in general. I usually like to hear what's going on with wheat and beef and the farmers, right? Because everybody skips over that. That's boring. I'm like, no, that's the most important story of our life for the next 2 to 5 years. What's happening in Africa, them trying to get that natural gas out and then trying to get all that food up out of Africa to get into Europe is important. Like when I'm listening to them and they're like, it's about to be a cold winter in Europe, and the average American's like, huh? I'm like, y'all ain't even paying attention enough to know. I knew you was gonna do that. I knew you was gonna do that. Trading places, yeah. Yes, very intentional. You have to be very intentional. Dion did a quote said, "I'm not a baby daddy. I'm a father." And I know what he was going with that, and I know we're very loose with that term. Like this woman put, "Oh, I'm divorced. I end up a baby mama." I'm like, no, you're a divorced woman, right? We're so busy trying to be cool with this lingo and stuff like that, and we don't know these terms. Words have meaning, and we just throw the words around, which is very dangerous. Um, and I'm very much a manifester. I'm very much a believer in certain stuff. And when I say, listen, from this date till March 19th, I'm gonna pull in $1 million from affiliate marketing, and I'm gonna show y'all how I'm gonna do it. I mean every word of it, because I already know I've helped people get on this path. I helped JT Automations become JT Automations. I already know this stuff. I already know this stuff. I do this stuff. So really, I'm just turning my staff into just multiple producers. Just produce me a bunch of content, throw me up on these platforms. I already know it's a numbers game, and I already know if I just get 1,000 people who are dedicated over the course of a year, I have 168,000 people who interact with this channel, interact with the Facebook pages and our Pinterest. So I know our numbers. I just need 1,000 out of 168,000 people to click a button, and I'll be good. So let me keep it moving. You have to be intentional. Yes, the concept of the movies were complex, but I would say if you watch it more than once or you rewind back a couple times, you're not going to be lost. They broke it. They spoon fed you as much as they possibly could on The Big Short. It was very spoon fed. Like that was the whole. To me, that was the funny part of them using like famous people to talk about it. And I was like, that's how you have to do to get people to get the concepts. Yeah, they did a good job. They did a good job, I think. Apply, yes, applying it matters. When so many people say, Erico, I started a YouTube channel and I look and they got 3 videos. I'm like, yeah, look, produce a bunch of content. Have a video a week for a year. And then when the end of the year you didn't like it, it sucks. I get it. But what is the why? Why are you trying to do this? This is where you get the difference. People want to be famous and people want to make money. And we get a very much entrepreneur employee mindset where like, I did a little bit of work, I need a little bit of money. It don't work like that sometimes. There you go. Exactly, John. There you go. Some of it's a little bit of gut. Some of it's a little bit of gut. Some of it's a little bit of thought. It's a mixture. There you go. Scared to face the world. Complacent career student. Yeah. Rich auntie vibes. I be trying to give them sometimes. Maybe 90 degrees. Why do you got a hoodie on, baby? Take it off. Take it off. I bet a steak dinner Crocs does 10% of all total revenue in Atlanta Metro. I'm telling you, when I was in Atlanta, I'm like, ugh, y'all just sliding on down the street. If you're not coachable in life, you'll be hard professionally and personally. Yes, this is correct. This is very correct. However, I'm from Florida. We've been wearing slides since 1990. Yeah, I know 2 or 3 people from Florida, and I'd be like, why do you got slides on? These are grown men with high socks and slides. He's like, you're just being comfortable. And I'm like, no, you're 40. You're 45. Why do you have on slides? Put some shoes on. It just drives me crazy. Honey, yeah, it's that bad out here. What's a slip? Like, oh, baby. Oh, Lord. What were they talking about on their podcast? I missed it. I'm sorry. Oil will not go below $60 a barrel as long as we have sanctions on Russia. I feel like oil might go to 90, but that's another conversation. Let me get out of there. Let me get out of there. Let me get out of there. We haven't locked it in yet. It'll probably be on the 5th or the 6th. The thing is, what people got to realize about Las Vegas that particular weekend, I'm going for an event and some dinners, but it's also SEMA, the car show. It's also 4 or 5 the cowboy events, PBR events, and then like 4 or 5 other events going on in Las Vegas. That's every day of that little week. So the rooms are not cheap. The places to do venues aren't cheap. But I do want to do a Las Vegas event because it's a practice for me for next year. So I really want to do a really massive 3-day event in Texas, one in Dallas and one in Central Texas coming up next year. So I got to, I'm just getting ready for it. That's all. It is what it is. People don't. That's why when people are like, I'm gonna be flipping houses and doing, I'm like, they were literally had to tell them, do you have an extra 50K sitting in your bank account that you don't need to pay your rent and you don't need to eat with? If you're not there, you're not there yet. And they're being honest with you. People don't want to hear that part though. I know y'all talking about all that DEION stuff. I get it. It's unfortunate to some degree. You do. I remember when I was first doing speaking on stages and everybody was like, Erica, you need more photos. You need more photos. I'm like, photos of what? Photo shoots of what? What are we, runway models? Are we business owners? Which one is it? And so a lot of the Black people are like, you got to get more photo shoots. Photo shoots, are you doing this and that? And I'm like, we're not movie stars. We're business owners. I'm not spending every 2 weeks on photo shoots. For who and for what? Does this put more money in our pocket? That kind of thing. They don't want. They don't want no money. Diamond Days, right? They don't want no money. Because if they get money, what they gonna do with it? Throw it away. Yeah, they don't want no responsibility. I mean, listen. I see. There you go. My ancestors built the NASDAQ and were traded on it. So I'm gonna go and invest in it. Listen, I'm just being very honest with y'all. Whenever I meet a Black person who's anti-land or home, any assets, I just get away from them because something about your training is off. Like your context, just your comprehension skills. Like look around. Who's doing well? People with homes and assets. Who's doing poorly? People with no assets. I mean, it's very 101. Yeah, they're just watching to see him lose. They're just sitting on the sidelines like, oh my God, I'm so ready. Listen, Vegas was crazy last night. Vegas, when they said the referees are going to win because Vegas got to make their money back, they ain't got time to pay out all these bets to Colorado State bet. I believe it a little bit. I believe a little bit there. There you go. Got to have more ad space. Where can we shove more ads in people's faces? There you go. People living off survival mode. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. This is the sad thing. I can't disclose the location, but one of the people who are one of the flippers was like, they bought a house in Dallas for 150. I said, no way. Where? Ain't no way you bought a house for one. They said, girl, it had a hole in the roof, and it had been there for years, and the people were living in the property. I said, what? She said, yeah, they got a hole in the roof. She's like, but they're hoarders, and so they've just been sitting, like, no roofing company, could kind of come in and do what they needed to do, because it, like, this is condemnable, right? So anyway, they offered to move all their stuff out and stuff. And the lady got sick, and so she was like, I've been sick all week ever since I went in their house. And they're like, is it mold? What is it? And I said, girl, there's probably dead animals in there, all kind of stuff in there. You never know what's in there. And so you got people living on survival mode, and if something changes, they can't bend, they can't move, they can't be nimble. This one lady was crying about house insurance. I said, well, ma'am, you don't have to have house insurance unless your mortgage requires it, right? People with paid off houses sometimes don't have insurance. That's very common, unfortunately, in the wholesaler market. And I'm going, but do you have money to pay for those repairs? This is all 101 stuff where people don't have savings, so then they can't pay repairs. So then they complain about insurance, but you need the insurance because you don't have money to pay for repairs. So it's like a circle thing. I have a whole setup. You'll see a post tonight on the affiliate marketing. I have an email list where I'm gonna give a lot of it free, just track a lot of it. I'm literally referring you to a team. You'll see it. You'll see a post tonight. After the show, I'll put a post on the community wall, and you guys can hit the link and learn from there, and we can go from there. Because honestly, like, it's one of the easiest ways. Like, when people ask me what's one of the easiest ways, I'm like, I know our people love talking about relationships online, and that's so tied and played out. But if you come online just telling people basic common sense knowledge and the step, like, here, take this step, call to action, they'll be rich, rich, rich. I know, that's the crazy part. A lot of people are betting. That's all. That's all. I'm going heavy on football. I'm trying to go past that. Yeah, they rather, people hate it when you tell them the truth. Great movie, and most people don't want to compete for real. That's why they're broke. Get some skills or take the deal, Diamond. I'm telling you. Like, just when I watched that movie, the first thing I sat there in the first 10 minutes is like, I need some more of my money over there. Because I know there's a game being played and you're missing out on it, right? And even if you just realize small basics, like, there's a couple people I know who post their Robinhood trades, and this guy literally every couple of days, once a week, he'll make 5 to 7 grand. He'll post it. They'd be like, you trade every day? He's like, I really don't. I swing trade. And people are like, but how do you? He's like, it's a whole thing. Like, he don't got time to explain it to you. You have to really want the desire to learn. Bro, the dude in there is going crazy about sports. Calm down, dude. Merch sales crazy right now. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but that was at the end of it. Before they came out and said something about the water. That they had been there for 2 years. That's the on the back end. Oh yeah. I mean, if Colorado's smart, because people don't want to talk about this, but this is a real factor. Colorado, and I know some of y'all not gonna agree with me. You're gonna want to tussle with me, but go look this data up. Their peak was 2016, when everybody was moving west. Before they start coming to Texas, before they start going to Florida, before they start filling up Arizona, They were going to Colorado. They were calling Colorado the cold California. Then they had the marijuana bill. So they were just getting all these people going to Colorado, right? Well, the peak of that was 2016. Ever since then, they've been going projectionally down as far as people coming into the state, numbers, companies moving to the state, all going down since 2016. This is something nobody wants to talk about. And so DEION being there is good for the revenue. It's good for the cities. It's good for the marketing of the state because they reached their peak in 2016. The peak of people moving there, the peak of companies moving there. Now companies are going to Texas, Florida, Arizona. Texas, Florida, Arizona, Carolina. That's it. So if you really pay attention to what's going on in Colorado right now, and I know y'all don't pay attention like this because everybody isn't a skier or snowboarder like myself. We were going to go to a resort in Colorado for snowboarding. They were closed for the season because they couldn't sell out the place. Those places lean heavily on tourism on the western side of the state. The eastern side of the state, the side of Denver, the side by Boulder, that is heavily tech, but the west side of the state is heavily tourism. And so they had a lot of issues the past 3 years. Yes, because of COVID, but yes, because of in general, people don't have the money to ski and snowboard. People don't have an extra $3-4 grand to go for the week and snowboard and ski and enjoy themselves. They don't have it. They don't have it without credit cards. That's why I say credit ain't shit. I mean, even today when I went to go buy those couches and the bed cash, the people at the place were freaking out like, you got a credit card? I'm like, no, I'm paying with my debit card. You got $3 grand on your debit card? I'm like, yeah. They were like, oh, like, what? I mean, like, people don't have it like that. Most HBCU colleges are enormously underfunded. Maryland was ordered to refund the underfunded HBCU over $500 million. Yeah. And they have small student bodies. Like I've seen those schools. If they don't have a solid 3,000 to 5,000 students, they can't meet their quotas. They can't meet their numbers. Yeah, listen, I got a friend right now. I was mad with her for a second. She was like, I'm a widow woman. I'm over here by myself. Her husband's shopping for business for 15 days. All your lights are paid, all your bills are paid, you don't work, you stay at home with your kids. You're fine. You're not a single mom. Your husband's just working for 15 days straight out of the country. Like, you're fine. And so I just laugh when people use that. I'm just a single mom. I'm a single married mom stuff. I'd be like, please stop. Even if your husband's just sitting on the couch doing nothing, he's a body there. You can go to the bathroom and go in the bathtub and not worry about the house catching on fire. Just saying. I'm telling you, winter's coming. See, they really listen. Part of why I'm going to Europe in October and partly in April. April, the heat comes back, and they're gonna need the money. They're gonna need the money. October's before it's freezing. It's gonna be 50 something in Edinburgh and in London. But when I go over to Japan, it'll be 70 something. I'm not worried about it. But yeah, it's gonna be a rough winter for them. I mean, almost like terrible. Like y'all not watching, and I'm not talking about regular news. I'm talking about like commodities trading, news on companies, like what's going on in Europe. Don't watch CNN. I'm talking about watch CBS, CNBC, Yahoo Finance. Like literally watch it and listen to what they're talking about. It's very different than what you're hearing on the news, right? Even the immigrant stuff. I'm telling y'all, it's very different. Barbarians at the Gate is based on actual events. Interesting. Thank you, Javon. It's going to be standalone. Just right. A lot of the stuff you already have in the digital real estate class, you already have that information. You can make a ton of money off of that just in there. This is more of like I'm tracking myself for 6 months, and every week on that email list, I'm giving you free links, free stuff to you can literally promote and market yourself as much as possible for the next 6 weeks. We've already like pre-wrote up a bunch of the emails, but essentially what we're going to do is share how much we made, and then off that particular track of affiliate marketing off that particular Instagram page, and we're just going to be documenting. But I'll put a link up tonight of stuff y'all can be able to get in the loop with it. But I'm telling you, like, it's one of the easiest ways. Just scrounge up a chunk of change, because you're already talking about Christmas. You're already talking about Halloween. You're already promoting stuff you're going to do. You're already promoting your vacation at Sandals. You're already promoting your vacation overseas. And all that stuff could have links and affiliates. And you can literally build a whole profile off that stuff. Literally. Listen, why are they fighting you? Whenever somebody's giving you resistance in an area, I want to know more. Now, what do I mean resistance in the area? Stock market, farming, owning land, owning businesses, not just like easy stuff. Like, again, when I don't know if y'all remember, there were lawsuits against the government, because they basically were only giving SBA was only giving loans to Black people who had hair salons and barbershops. And all of a sudden, when they did a lawsuit, they looked and showed all these millions of Black people with viable businesses with good numbers and good data, and they were not giving them loans. So why was SBA so comfortable just giving you barbershop and hair salon loans? There's a reason. There's a reason, right? So it's like you have to think about these things. I want to go anywhere where they're trying to go past. They're like, oh, go this way. I remember this guy was saying when he got out of the military, like, you can go work at the post office. And his other buddy came around like, why don't you go work at a GS job in the government, in an office? Why would you work at the post office? They're already trying to track you a certain way. And for me, that's an instant pushback. I'm instantly like, why are you pushing me this way? My whole school career. And again, when people ask me about entrepreneurship and starting businesses, my whole life has been, they took me to school, they tested me, they told my mom one thing. She's like, no, my child's going to do this. Boom. Like, my whole life has been like a push resistance against a lot of that. Private school, playing golf, playing tennis, beating like white kids from historically wealthier families, and they just sitting there pissed. My whole life has been a track point of this. And even now, I had people who distance themselves from me when my businesses became successful and I'm traveling the world, and they're like they couldn't fathom it. They couldn't wrap their head around it. So that's been my whole life. And so I don't, when people say, oh, I'm concerned about this and that, I'm like, you're concerned how people will like you. And that's the worst place to be in. Will people like me? Like, you need to like yourself. And you got to pay attention. Why are people trying to navigate you to very low expectation shit? That's racism to me. Oh, well, you're smart enough to do that over there. Or you can go be a CNA, or you can go do this. No, man, get out of here with that. There, yep. Okay. That's a person. Yeah. Yes, it will be hard winter in Europe. Then 6 to 8 weeks later it'll be with hard patches in the USA. Oh yeah. It's gonna be some hard times. People not ready. They're not ready. They are not ready. They're just not ready. There's a lot going on people are not ready for. Josh said, last thing I think of somebody like me. Yeah, I mean, you should. But yeah, we're at our point. I didn't want to drag this out forever, but I want y'all to pay attention. Pay attention to the wave. Pay attention to the marketing that they'll be using for DEION. Our society and our marketing loves to build somebody up and then tear them down. So pay attention. That will be happening. Where do they want you not to look? And this is what I really want y'all to understand. Wherever they don't want y'all to look, you should be looking. Like, if it's the stock market, if it's government contracts, if it's, there's a lot of places I feel like they don't want you looking. Right? The other day I found out the lady who was a part of the trial, Epstein trial, her sister is the person who created Amber Alerts on our phone. Think about that again. Your sister is friends to Epstein, who is for 20 plus years trafficking people, and her sister is the lady who created Amber Alerts. Nothing's a consequence. Nothing's a coincidence, right? Wherever they don't want you to look, you need to be looking. That's how I say it. Like the other day when Jimmy gave me that stock that was here out of Austin, Texas, I've made it my mission to look up every company whose headquarters is here and they're on the stock market. Where do they don't want you to look? That's where you should be looking, right? Um, and so when, and I'm gonna put it this way: when Black people are going relationship, I'm like, let's the opposite direction. And I'm being really honest. When I see relationship talk and it's just really forced on Black people, when we're in an economy and a situation where people are going to get married, cohabitate, buy homes together, go group economics, and they're really heavily pushing Black people. They're divorcing. Black people are leaving each other. They're divorcing. They don't get married. They have kids out of wedlock. Why are they making you look that way? I'm immediately going, Spidey sense, look this way. I'm immediately going, look left. I'm immediately like, when they start saying, oh, the stock market's going to crash, it's going to crash. I'm immediately going, isn't Nancy Pelosi now making more millions of dollars in the stock market? And now it's going to run up for, look, Nancy was not going to run for re-election, but now since she's running for re-election again at 83 years old, baby, I'm looking left. Whatever Nancy Pelosi's investing, I need to look over there. Right? When people are talking about government contracts, and all of a sudden, because of the affirmative action thing that happened with college, they stopped the AA, the AA from going through now, which helped minority people get into government contracting. Baby, anytime they doing something, I'm looking left. Like, okay, what can I do with $1,000? Right? Even though 1,000 doesn't sound like a lot, trust me, I've seen some people's stock accounts and the screenshots, actual accounts, not Thinkorswim, but actual accounts. You can do a lot with that. What I've seen people do with service businesses and companies, you can do a lot with that. I want you to understand, wherever they're trying to force you to look, if they're trying to force you to look at football, I'm like, what's else going on? Like the most news comes out literally August to December. The most news, the most tax lien sales, tax sales. I mean, again, this is going to be a heavy fall for tax sales, tax liens and tax deed sales, because they've been holding back since 2020. They've been giving people extensions and giving them extensions, and maybe we can give them another extension, and maybe we'll collect the taxes. Nah, go immediately the opposite direction. Immediately. Quickly. Yeah, think about it. Where do they not want you to look? Right? When they're telling everybody in tech, and I'm being honest, this is a quick moment. When they tell everybody Black in tech, oh, getting tech sales, you don't have to study that hard. Tech sales is a couple years ago were like 75,000, right? Entry level. Now it's 55 to 65,000 entry level. If they telling you to look tech sales, I'm gonna tell you go to the next level. What's cybersecurity? What's account executive? What's the next level? Because they know what's gonna happen. A lot of y'all gonna come in at 65K, be there, complain about tech sales don't make no money and it's stressful, and be in help desk jobs, and they're gonna say, why didn't you move up in 6 months? You didn't need to be there more than 6 months. But the average person ain't got no savings. They ain't been in nice jobs like this, so they're gonna just sit there. They ain't gonna ask for no raise or nothing. They're just gonna sit there and be like, oh, I can't leave. Immediately, you need to be looking, what's the next level past this? When somebody's trying to sell you on being a wholesaler, nah, give me the next level past that. When somebody's trying to sell you on being a flipper, why are they trying to convince you to flip and sell everything you have when they're in a hold position? Most of the builders and people I know are in a hold position. Why are they trying to sell you on selling everything you got? Be smart, man. Be very smart. There you go. Went to a private school in Canada. The Black girls were all studying science, going into healthcare. The white and Jewish girls were all studying business economics. I'm telling you, when you really look at the math on, there are people I know that have like 10 rentals. That's it. They're all Section 8 rentals. They're pulling in close to 20 grand a month gross, not net. They're good. On the average day in any day in America, they're good. At this point, now they need to educate themselves on what other things they can invest in. It's a very simple math. Oh yeah, super shady. I'm telling you. Listen, what is Nancy investing in? That's what I want to know. Master, yes. Oh shit. I do. I really be like, why are they marketing that to us? Again, whenever they start talking about t-shirts and them putting monkeys on t-shirts or something stupid happens racial, and then everybody black gets an outrage, and then the SEO for that company goes through the roof. I'm already like, something else. There you go. Use a launch pad. Thank you. Oil and gas. This, come on, talk. Listen, I've been heavy oil and gas. When I found out how much it costs to invest in some of these oil rigs, and I put that in Wealth Wednesday class, when I found out that, I said, that's it? If they talking to you about solar, and wind, oil and gas, deep in it, like what's happening right now between Russia and Europe? They blew up a pipeline. That one pipeline will literally have most of Europe, Germany and over, in the cold this winter. But they're telling you about solar and wind, oil and gas. Exactly. I'm just telling y'all, whatever they're telling y'all to do, what's the next step above that? Look into that. That's all I'm saying. Just whatever the step is they're telling you to do, in 6 months, you should be elevating to the next track. Point blank serious. But so, anyways, you guys, this is your girl Erica from the Classic Clown Blog, just talking about the Big Short movie and Deion Sanders riding that wave. It's a lot of symbolism with what's going on with him. You know, what's the net that tweet? Oh, well, I think she had a few of the properties had a loan on it. I'm not certain how many, but even so, I mean, you're still going to probably walk away with 900. Because these properties are cheap, 900 per unit. So she had 10 units, so about 9 to 10 grand a month. Still better than most. But I want you to understand that if Michael Burry is focusing on farmland, real estate, gold, and water, me too. Me too. Bill Gates buying up land. Me too. If you see all of a sudden 20, 30 football players and basketball players coming together to buy farms in Iowa, yeah, me too. That's what I'm about to do. I ain't got time for this. It is. There you go. It's not common. Most people make around 70. And then on top of that, I'm like, well, in 6 months, you should already be leveraging yourself to go to the next step, which is 100 to 120,000, which is account executive. Just letting you know. Listen, come on, man. Come on, the stereotypes stay stereotyping. I remember being a black girl in a ballet class, and my classmate said I'd be a good hairstylist. I was like, heck no, I hate touching people. I just one woman said, oh, I bet you can sing. I'm like, no, I can't sing. Where'd that come from? People got these stuff they be trying to feed your children at these schools. Be careful. Be careful. Right? I'm just being honest with y'all. Like, pay attention. Whatever they want you to look at left. Like, okay, what's else? What else is over there? Let me get over there. So, anyways, I'll let y'all know what I think of the Margin Call movie when I watch it tonight. And hopefully I'll get all the furniture I need by the end of this week. Supply chain. Okay. So anyways, you guys, this is your girl Erica, Classic Clown Blog. Have a great night.